I said, there is no way we are going to this event now. There's a 0% chance. First and foremost, why are you saying invite? Anybody can go to it. You just buy a ticket to the event, and you're all working to try to get me to confirm that I'm going. And you're doing this as if you're trying to like push my buttons and be like, we got to make her get into her ego so she like shows up and like posts it on social media. Nope, actually, while I'm attacking the feds, maybe not going to a public event, which the feds are organizing, is probably a very good idea. I'm good. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna listen to Power on my headphones and go see Ye. How's that for a memorial for Charlie Kirk? That feels like the right thing for me to do right now.
Oh, looks like Candace Owens might have been onto something all along, because Jaguar Wright just backed up a lot of what Candace has been screaming about Charlie Kirk's suspicious death. No cap, Candace has been shouting that something was off, and now Jaguar's stepping up with claims that make the whole thing smell rotten. Jaguar's not the type to play games, and from the sound of it, she's gearing up to name names and call out everyone who had a hand in this. This is about to get messy and loud, so buckle up. We're diving into every wild detail she's dropping. And when it comes to Charlie, she's been talking straight about a massive cover-up that's brewing behind the scenes. Candace Owens has been pushing hard for the feds to be transparent, and people went on alert when the FBI swooped in and took the lead from local cops. The FBI put out a statement saying Salt Lake City special agents and personnel responded right away. They say full resources are on deck, from tactical teams to intel units, and that the FBI will support and co-lead the probe with partners. Back then, most people thought the FBI stepping in was just standard protocol. Charlie was a public figure with powerful ties, and the nature of the crime practically guaranteed federal involvement. So when Candace Owens wouldn't let it go, plenty of folks brushed her off, saying she was being dramatic. But then Candace dropped a bomb on Twitter. The feds immediately interjected and took over the case from local police departments. If they had wanted to catch Charlie's killer, they would have immediately publicized all pictures and videos, and the internet would have solved it in minutes. The desire was never there. She didn't stop there. She went further, accusing the feds of a massive cover-up and insisting that more people were in on it, and that the public deserves to know exactly who. She's saying a lot of schools tie back to Discord chat, like there's a whole underground scene popping up and she wants to know who's running the show. She even accused the feds of messing with the probe, retweeting this exact post. I guarantee the FBI was in that Discord server, and that's why we won't get it before it's been scrubbed. Those are explosive claims, and she's framing them as proof the case was tampered with. Now, critics call her an attention seeker, a clout chaser, even a conspiracy theorist, because that stuff sounds wild to a lot of people. She points out Charlie's close ties to powerful figures and hints at connections with the FBI director. So, she's asking straight up, why would they botch an investigation if they weren't covering something up?
It's clear we're not getting all the information. It's clear something's off here. The first person, the old man, I don't even know why he was grabbed, but he was grabbed and his picture was fondled out. And then there was someone else who was a person of interest, and that didn't work. And then we got this guy. He had a bulletproof vest that might have caught the exit, really? That's interesting. That's definitely an interesting point of view. But what kind of bulletproof vest are you talking about? Because usually bulletproof vests, they cover your front, they cover your back. There's points of vulnerability on the sides usually. I haven't seen too many. I mean, was he wearing like hardcore Kevlar? Like fully body casted? That's wild. Nobody mentioned that yet. Military grade. He was wearing military grade. I don't know. It's funny. Seems like they might have mentioned that.
Okay, Candace says this whole thing smells like a power play behind the scenes and people are shouting about it. She's careful not to claim it as gospel, but she's been loud about the theory. Maybe this wasn't random, maybe bigger players were involved, and that's why the story's getting weird. I'm not saying it's true or false, just laying out what Candace and others are saying so you can judge for yourself. Candace even claimed that just weeks before Charlie died, he'd run into trouble with some billionaires who allegedly put pressure on him and even threatened him. She says Charlie was beefing with some heavy hitters he'd taken money from over topics he was pushing, and the stress was real. Now she's saying the next 2 weeks will spill receipts, messages will leak, and the movement he built might roar back to life. She even retweeted a post claiming Charlie was about to lose his last big donor because he refused to ban Tucker Carlson from events. And suddenly folks are dropping crocodile tears like it's a funeral. The heat's on the billionaires, and Candace says they gotta be exposed for what they are. But she didn't stop there. She kept calling the FBI shady and acting like someone's covering tracks. Reports say the FBI hasn't ruled out that others might have helped radicalize or assist the alleged attacker. And Bureau sources are reportedly diving deep into chat logs, dark web activity, and the suspect's connections. An FBI official insisted they're focused on the radicalization element, and Candace says the truth won't be hidden, buried, or classified. So tensions rising and receipts might drop any minute. The public deserves answers. No stone left unturned, no excuses. Who radicalized this attacker? They have to be held accountable, period. She pushed back hard and snapped, if they'd prefer to try another bogus narrative before my show, we'll be happy to shred that one too. This is about to get messy. She says the FBI might be in cahoots with billionaires who allegedly took Charlie out. And by calling them out, she put a massive target on her back. Fans were shook when she skipped Charlie's memorial a few days ago. And even more shook when she said the reason was that she feared for her life.
But I don't want to even get into the whole thing with the GUN being dismantled, the guy jumping off of the roof without the, weapon. This whole thing looks fishy. And that's why I said, I always say this, I say I'd rather get all the information first, then make a comment. But yeah, it's just real fishy. Of course. They say
we have a right to question the validity of it. And it's got to pass the smell test. There's something wrong with all of this. And everyone is starting to pick it out piece by piece, thread by thread. Everyone is starting to see something's wrong here. The question is, why?
People started to buy into her story fast because the official lines didn't add up. It all started to smell off fast. For starters, the suspect's own grandmother came forward claiming he never fired a gun and had no reason to take Charlie out, which flipped a lot of heads and turned skeptics into believers. She even said verbatim, "My son, his dad is a Republican for Trump. Most of my family members are Republicans. I don't know any single one who's a Democrat. I'm just so confused. I don't think he ever shy." To tell you the truth, he doesn't hunt. He's never liked anything like that. I know he doesn't own any. There's just no way he could have been that good there's no way he could be violent. There's absolutely no way he did that. I watched that child grow up, and I can't imagine it would ever be him. And I'm not just saying that as his grandma. It's because I know him. That's what she said, and it hit hard. But what made things even shadier were the leaked texts the feds dropped. These so-called texts were supposedly between Tyler and his roommate, but they look fake AF. They had Tyler confessing out of nowhere, detailing how he unalived Charlie, engraving bullets, and even pointing out the exact spot he left the weapon. Convenient, right? Almost too convenient, but the public wasn't buying it. People started whispering that Candace might have been right from the jump because the math just wasn't mathing. That's when Jaguar Wright stormed into the convo, and trust me, she came in loud with receipts and energy, ready to spill more on her episode. Jaguar didn't hold back for a second. She went live and flat out said Charlie's death wasn't just random, it was orchestrated. She claimed she's seen things, heard things, and that some very powerful figures wanted him gone. According to her, the leaked texts were nothing but a distraction, a cheap cover story to keep the public looking at the wrong people while the real players slip into the shadows. She even hinted that money changed hands behind closed doors and that certain media puppets were told to push the FBI's version of events, no questions asked. Fans watching her live went wild in the comments, spamming that this was the first explanation that actually made sense. And when Jaguar promised to start dropping names, that's when everybody realized this saga was about to explode even bigger than before. On an episode of her podcast, Jaguar doubled down and backed Candace to the fullest, saying the feds are flat out hiding crucial information from the public. And according to her, it's not about protecting the investigation like they claim. It's about shielding powerful people who could have had a hand in Charlie's suspicious death. That's a bold accusation, and she didn't stop there. Because wait, there's more. Jaguar even brought a guest onto the show who dropped some jaw-dropping points of their own, making the whole thing sound less like speculation and more like a coordinated takedown that somebody desperately doesn't want us to see. So here's the real question. If the feds are actually shielding billionaires like Jaguar and Candace claim, that's massive trouble for the whole system. It ain't small. We're talking about power moves that could bury the truth and wreck lives. And that should scare everyone who cares about justice and transparency. What do you think? Is this a full-blown conspiracy, or are Candace and Jaguar hyping it up too hard? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash the like button, hit subscribe, share this vid, and tell me why you believe what you do. See you on the next one.